Hello, and welcome back to another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. Today, we're going to be looking at the top 10 poor people who became billionaires. It takes a lot to orchestrate a complete reversal of your fortunes, but these 10 billionaires did it, and they did it more convincingly than anyone else. Number 10. Howard Schultz. The Starbucks CEO has a net worth of nearly $3 billion. But to hear it from him, he started out on the wrong side of the tracks. Growing up poor, Schultz found his escape playing sports. Little did he know that years later, after scoring an athletics scholarship which allowed him to study business at university, he would become the owner of the NBA's Seattle Supersonics. To get there, though, he built up the Starbucks brand from a single corner store to the behemoth it is today. In case you're wondering, that's a massive 16,000 outlets worldwide.
We must do everything we can to reclaim and reimagine the American dream and fill the reservoir back up, not with cynicism, but with optimism.
Number 9. J.K. Rowling. Want to know how to go from nothing to billions? It just takes a little magic. Only 20 years ago, J.K. Rowling was a single mother living on welfare payments. And while today she is the UK's highest-earning living novelist, it took an awful lot of rejection letters from prospective agents and publishers until luck finally turned the writer's way. Of course, we all know how this ends. Harry Potter is a worldwide phenomenon, and J.K. Rowling's name is going to live on for years to come. We're sure that her bank account cracking the $1 billion mark was a magic moment too.
This is the next generation, so I'm thrilled to see it realized so beautifully, but that's Harry has done that. Actually, strangely, no, it wasn't. When Sonia came to meet me, her vision for what the show could be chimed perfectly with the material I had about the next generation. I could see it would work beautifully. So I never wanted to write another novel, but this, I think, will give the fans something really special.
Number 8. Shahid Khan. Businessman Shahid Khan went from washing dishes for $1.20 per hour to being worth $6.9 billion. It's no wonder that many people point to the Pakistani-born Khan as the perfect example of the American dream realized. Joining automotive manufacturer Flexingate in the late 1960s, Khan managed to work his way up through the ranks, eventually becoming the company's owner in 1980. Thanks to Khan's savvy business acumen, the company's yearly revenue grew dramatically, reaching an estimated $3 billion in 2011. Maybe that explains how this self-made billionaire managed to purchase both the NFL's Jacksonville Jaguars and the Premium League soccer club Fulham. Nothing says incredible wealth like casually owning a couple of world-class sports teams.
What did you, when you came to this country, what was your ambition?
Charlie, my ambition was to get an education and, try to live the American dream.
And what did you know about car bumpers that nobody else knew?
Knew nothing, absolutely nothing, zero. So,
well, you obviously knew something because you created a company that you sold for.
Well, I got a great education, and I was looking for a job. And basically, in those days, you went door to door with a resume and selling yourself, and with a huge, really, tolerance for rejection. So this was one of the places where I was able to get a job, and then, you prove yourself.
Number 7. Ralph Lauren. Number 7 is 76-year-old fashion designer Ralph Lauren. Born to Ashkenazi Jewish immigrants in the Bronx, Lauren was a college dropout who left to serve in the Army Reserve. But it was his time later working as a tie salesman that inspired him to start designing the fashion accessory for Beau Bremel cravats. A year later, he had started fashion label Polo, a company that went on to bring in a very attractive $5 billion in revenue in 2010. Stylin'. Number 6. Oprah Winfrey. Coming in at number 6 on our list, here is the woman who was once dubbed the Queen of all media. What hasn't Oprah done? At 19, she was hired as Nashville's first African-American TV correspondent. In the early 80s, she started her own morning talk show in Chicago, a little thing named The Oprah Winfrey Show. A couple of years later, she was accepting an Oscar nomination for her acting work in Steven Spielberg's film The Color Purple. She's given away cars, she's the first African American to appear on Forbes' billionaire list, and she's even been credited with drawing 1 million voters to Barack Obama's presidential campaign, thanks to a heartfelt 2008 endorsement. Of course, someone that influential managed to make $1 billion or $3 billion. This is made all the more remarkable given that Winfrey was born into poverty in Mississippi and had to demonstrate tenacity and perseverance to get her breaks in life. To be frank, that sounds like the sort of inspirational story you might even hear on her show.
The most powerful scene in The Color Purple for me was a scene where Sophia walks through the cornfield and proclaims herself to Celie, defines and proclaims herself, where she says, all my life I had to fight. I had to fight my cousins, I had to fight my brothers, I had to fight my uncles, but I never thought I had to fight my own house. I did that scene in one take because it was the essence, I thought, of my life.
Number 5. Sheldon Adelson. He started out the son of a Boston cabbie, living in a rough and ready neighborhood. Today, he's the 21st richest person in the world. Welcome to the Sheldon Adelson story. The American casino magnate started his own business selling newspapers on street corners at the age of 12. But that was just the first of many ventures. In his early 20s, he sold chemical agents. Later on, he was running a charter touring business. Naturally industrious, he became a millionaire by the time he was 30, even though he had lost a fortune twice along the way. This time, though, he consolidated his earnings and he went on to purchase the Sands Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, opening the gateway to his billions and his modern-day casino empire.
Well, when we first applied in Macau, in 2002, there was $2.5 billion in gross gaming income.
Number 4. Jack Ma. Can you picture a guy who flunked 2 college applications and a job interview at KFC going on to rake in over $20 billion? If not, meet Jack Ma, the man who created what is essentially the Amazon of China. The internet took a little longer to take hold in China than it did elsewhere in the world, but that only meant that entrepreneurs like Ma, who got in on the ground floor, had the potential to go on to great success. Ma's venture Alibaba reached a market value of $231 billion in 2014. KFC's market value? Well, it's nowhere near that.
You know, you did a great job and blah, blah, blah. So I said, maybe in 10 years we'll be bigger than Walmart. You say, young man, you have a good hope. So we said, make a bet. I think in 10 years we'll be bigger than Walmart on the sales. Because if you want to have 10,000 new customers, you have to build a new warehouse and this, that. For me, 2 servers.
Number 3. Leonardo Del Vecchio. The next name on our list of poor people who became billionaires grew up in an orphanage, then went on to work in a molding factory where he lost a chunk of his finger. Now that's a bad start to life. Leonardo Del Vecchio made good, of course, otherwise he wouldn't have cracked the top 3 in this countdown. After starting his own molding shop at the age of 23, Del Vecchio went on to develop the largest range of sunglasses and eyewear in the world, producing iconic brands such as Ray-Ban and Oakley. Turns out that will fetch you a pretty penny. Del Vecchio is today worth $18.7 billion.
Minimo di 5 anni, bisogna che ci vuole pazienza, qualcuno soffrirà di più di altri, però credo che alla fine l'Italia...
Number 2. George Soros. Coming in at number 2, George Soros once bet against the British pound and made himself $1 billion in the process. But before all of that, the legendary trader lived through Nazi-occupied Hungary, posing as the godson of an agricultural ministry employee in an effort to stay out of the Nazis' hands. Making his way to London safe but impoverished, Soros worked 2 jobs to pay his way through the London School of Economics, then scored a gig as a banker in the US. Over the years, he worked his way up through the industry and is today said to be worth close to $25 billion.
If you actually have something that works, you will overburden it, put too much weight on it until it becomes flawed. So you even, let's say, natural science, which actually does produce fantastic results, has been overburdened by applying the methods and criteria to the study of social phenomena.
Number 1. Larry Ellison. We've reached number 1 on our list, and it has to be Larry Ellison. Raised by his aunt and uncle in working-class Chicago after his single mother gave him up, Ellison's road to being one of the richest men in America is the stuff of legends. His adopted father frequently told him he was good for nothing, but all these years later, Ellison has proved that, at the very least, he was good at business. Netting a fortune worth over $50 billion through his software development company, Oracle, Ellison's life today is a far cry from his years spent jumping from odd job to odd job. For one thing, back then, he wasn't known for buying mansions in the middle of the night or winning the America's Cup.
It was in school, and they noticed when I was writing programs for school that I was getting done faster than everybody else. So they offered me a job. And I figured out very, very quickly that rather than being paid by the hour, I was much better off being paid by the program. So I figured that. So I was working for the university, and then I started doing consulting for local businesses, and that worked very well.
Thanks for watching another Daily Top 10's Top 10 video. And remember, it's our duty to entertain and yours to subscribe.
Hi guys, please subscribe to Daily Top 10s, please! I love this channel so much, and I really want to see more videos, and I really like it, and I want them to continue. So please, oh my god, I love you, Daily Top 10s! I love you! Subscribe!